All right, podheads, today we're going to go over wiring two speakers in parallel in a speaker pod. Here we have two 6.5-inch 4-ohm speakers. We're going to wire those in parallel, and that's going to be a 2-ohm load. We're going to use our wire kit. What is included in the wire kit? We have wire, zip ties, heat shrink connectors, Wago lever nuts, and plugs. So the purpose of the plug basically is to make installation easier. You will have one side of your plug connected to your door, the signal source in your door in your car, and the other side will be connected to the wire harness we're going to create inside the door panel itself. So that way when we go to install the door panel, put the door panel on and you plug it in. Make life a lot easier. So two speakers wired in parallel. What does that mean? We're going to take our signal coming from our amplifier. We have a positive and a negative, blue positive, black negative, and we're going to connect that to the speakers. Each speaker has a positive and negative terminal. Those are usually denoted with positive being red, negative being black, or a plus sign and a minus sign, which are seen on these DS18 speakers. Please note that there are a couple different types of ways to connect to a speaker. These are spade terminals, where other speakers will have these nice little push connectors. Okay, black or red positive, black negative. If you are going to be utilizing a speaker that has these push terminals, that's great because you strip the wire, twist it, put it in there, and you're good to go. If you are going to be using speakers that have the spade terminals, there's two ways you can do it. Way number one is go to your hardware store and pick up some spade terminals and then just crimp those onto the wire and then attach it here, or you can solder leads directly onto the speaker, which is the recommended way to do it because speakers have different size terminals, and then sometimes these spade terminals will rattle loose or not fit, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. Okay, so basic premise of wiring speakers in parallel is that we have two speakers with positive terminal, negative terminal, positive terminal, negative terminal. What we're going to do is we're going to take our signal coming from our amplifier, positive, negative, and we're going to have a wire coming from it to our speaker, and then another wire coming from that to our speaker. Okay. And how do we do that with the wire kit? Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to have one Wago connector for our positive, and then another one for our negative. In there. And then what we will do is we will take our positive wire going to one speaker, put it in there. Negative wire going to one speaker, put it in there. Okay. And same thing with the other speaker. Positive wire going in, negative wire going in. Then what we do is we take one wire, hook it up to the speaker, positive, negative. Another wire going to the other speaker again, positive, negative. Those two speakers are now wired in parallel with a plug that goes directly into your car. Cool? Very good. Now what we'll do is we will go ahead and make a wire harness for a door panel. We get this cleaned up, get the door panel out, and we'll get to it. Okay, this is a door panel from a 2015 Yukon. It is something I've already done some work on, but we've already gone over how to install a speaker pod, how to install the brass inserts. This door panel I have already sound deadened. I've already sound deadened the back of this for another video I've done. But just a quick rundown of how it was done. Speaker pod installed, and then as much sound deadening as you can get on there and still allow the door to fit on the door or on the car. But basic premise, what we're going to do is we're going to create a wire harness for this door. First thing to do is start out with the plug. Then again, we're just going to have one of these Wago connectors for the positive, one Wago connector for the negative, and then we are going to just say that guy's going to go right there. Okay. Now we're going to take a piece of speaker or a length of speaker wire, and we're going to say, all right, that is where that's where the speaker lives. Get a little bit enough wire there. That's about it. And we're going to cut it. Split it. Strip it. Strip it. Twist it. Twist it. Positive to positive. Negative to negative. Okay. And that's going to go right there. Now another length of speaker wire. That's where that speaker is. And we're going to go right about over here, just like that. Cut it. Split it. Strip it. Strip it. Twist it. Twist it. Positive to positive. Negative to negative. Okay. Now, what we will do, well, there's two ways to do it. If you're going to solder the leads on, now that we have these lengths set, we can solder the leads onto the speaker. So that way, when we install the speakers into the speaker pod, we would just have to connect these leads into these Wagos. So for simplicity's sake, let's go ahead and install the spade terminals on here so we can show you how to tidy up everything. So first thing we will do after we have the wire split, we'll go ahead and strip it. Strip it. Twist it, twist it. Get your spade terminals. We will put one in there like so. Make sure the wire goes in properly. Alright, not yet. And then we will go ahead and crimp that sucker on there. Put it on there. So now that we have that, what we can do is tidy up all this stuff with the zip ties. Best way to do that is with a drill. So leave enough space somewhere here where we can drill a hole. All right. And take a zip tie. Put it up in there like that. Zip tie all of this stuff. Together, nice and tight. Cool. Typically, if you have already installed sound deadener, you're going to have some extra sound deadener laying around. And I happen to have some extra sound deadener laying around. Not the same brand, but it's okay. It's still going to work. So what we'll do is with some sound deadener chunks, we can go ahead, run the wire where we want it. Sound deadener that sucker in place, just like that. Isn't that fun? Make sure it's up out of the way. Stick that sucker on there. Same thing here. This one's a little bit long, but that's alright. Rather a little long than a little short. So, get the guy in there like that. Find a happy place to stick them. Wherever you want. Not recommended tool, but it's the one I have on hand. Go ahead and trim that a little bit. That guy out of there. Bam! Now we're ready to install the door in the car and install the speakers, plug everything in. That's the basics of it. All right, hope you learned a little bit of something today, but that's about the basics of it. Please.